Hey everyone, the other day we looked at the preseason changes, the tower plating, the bounties, the rune and minion changes, and I'll link that down below if you haven't seen it already. But today we're looking at the champion buffs and nerfs, and a lot of runes have been reworked as well coming into next patch in 8.22. Let's just start with the biggest changes. Dark Harvest is getting a rework and is different to what we've talked about on the channel before as well. So damaging a champion below 50% health now deals damage and harvests a soul, permanently increasing Dark Harvest damage. The damage now has a base, it is 10 damage per soul. It has an AD ratio and an AP ratio. One of the bigger things though is it has a 45-second cooldown now, which resets on a kill or assist. So it's much better for laners now. It looks like if you can trade like every 45 seconds when it comes up, right, you stack this up pretty fast and you're going to have a good amount of damage. The version we looked at before, like a week ago, I think it was giving you more AD and AP per Dark Harvest stack, but they've changed that back to how it used to be. The damage is kind of like how it is right now on live. Like you have the base damage, you have some soul damage, and then you have the ratios. And the ratio is actually the same as well, but each soul gives 10 damage instead of 1. This version I think is like straight up worse for junglers though, right? Like Dark Harvest, why would you use it? Like you have to go into lane to proc it and to stack it, which is going to be really hard. Assassins as well, it probably sucks for, but it opens it up to way more champions. Because it applies on all damage, so that will be an ability, a spell, an attack as well. Mages could use this, like poke champions could use it. There are so many more options. That is kind of the cool part about this rework. It opens it up to more than just assassins right now, as long as you have a lot of AD or AP in the build, because those ratios are going to be where most of the damage is coming from, especially late game. Another really big one is bone plating is being removed from the game and replaced with a thing called shield bash. So while shielded, you gain bonus armor and magic resist, and when you gain a new shield, your next attack against a champion deals some bonus damage. That times out as well the damage after 2 seconds of the shield expiring. So it's sort of a synergy thing, either with like shield champions like a Janna or a Lulu for example on your team, or if you have a shield built into your kit, kind of like a Poppy's passive shield, that should work with this as well. First up, you're going to be tankier with the bonus armor and magic resist. That's great, but you're also going to have more damage, which is also great. It will work on a lot of different champions because it has two parts to the scaling, right? With bonus health from items or runes, so for tanks or something. The other side is the shield strength though. So even as an AD carry, like with not much bonus health, if the Janna has a ton of AP and a big shield, then that boosts the damage instead for you. It's kind of a cool idea. It's a bit weird. It's not something you're probably going to take every game or anything like that, but on some champions, I bet this could be insanely good, especially because so far I don't see this having a cooldown, so you can proc it over and over. There are two more reworks for runes as well. Celerity is the first one. Move speed buffs are now 13% more effective on you. It doesn't include boots though. That is actually it. It's the entire rune. It's in the same place in sorcery. It's not moving at all, but it's not giving you any damage anymore. For AD carries mostly anyway, we've kind of swapped over to absolute focus next to it anyway, so it's not going to be that big of an issue for us. I guess for like a Hecarim who uses Predator and Ghost and is using his speed for his damage, surely having a 13% boost for that is going to be absolutely bonkers. I'm not sure if like on a Zero for example, would I really want to take this? It's kind of cool, but it's not giving me any damage anymore. It's just making me a little bit faster. I bet there are some really cool things you can do with this, like for example a Zillion with his speed up. That could be really cool, but the Hecarim synergy is the obvious one. The last rune rework we have is Time Orb Tonic. So consuming a potion gives you 50% of its health or mana straight away, but it puts it on a cooldown which is equal to the duration of what you use. You also gain 5% move speed while that potion is running, and as an example, with a health potion you would instantly get back 75 health, which is pretty cool, but then you couldn't use that for another 15 seconds. If you think about it, in a fight, having a 75 health heal is actually so easy to abuse. Imagine level 1, like fighting and stuff. You're both low and then you suddenly pop back up to bait them and heal for 75. That's actually quite a lot. Summon a heal, for example, that is going to heal you for 90 level 1, only slightly more. And this is a health potion that heals you instantly for 75. That's not bad. Obviously, the summon a heal does go up with the levels. By level 9, it's up to like 210, but still having that heal from a potion could be really, really useful, especially in the lane phase. The biggest champion change for us on this patch though is going to be to Pike. So there are loads of different things. I'm going to try and cover them as quickly as possible. His passive, the percentage of max health stored as grey health, has been changed now. It's going to be 8% of your base AD instead of just like a percentage that scales. Your W mana cost has been lowered and the move speed has been changed to boost from lethality now. So it's 30% and then 2% for each point of lethality that you have. Your E mana cost has been lowered and the stun duration has been changed to scale up with ranks, and it now scales with lethality as well. And finally, the execute on your ultimate also now in addition scales with lethality. It's 1.5 health for every point of lethality that you have. So they are going to be nerfs if you build tank like people do right now, the Frozen Heart, the Visage build and stuff, but they are buffs if you're going to build AD and lethality. Dust Blade itself gives you 21 lethality, so your W would already be up to 72% move speed. That's like a rank 3 or 4 at the moment, which is kind of crazy. Your E would also be stunning for 1.3 seconds, which is equivalent to rank 3 and your ultimate would be executing for 32 more health than right now. And actually that is 76 more health if you count the AD from Dustbait as well. Basically, if you build AD and you get fed, you're going to move faster, you stun for longer, and you execute for more damage. That seems kind of ridiculous. You'll be easier to kill, and that is the downside obviously right now. You'll also have to build lethality, or your stun is going to be much worse, and you move a lot slower with your W, so the tank build is kind of like, it just doesn't work as well at all. The flip side of that is, yes, you're going to be easier to kill, but it's easier for you to kill other people, and I think of these as buffs overall, to be honest, because if you can play it well and you can play it kind of clean and not get caught, you do more damage and your kit is actually better. Those are kind of the biggest changes, but we might as well stay with the champions that we have. We have 4 more and a teleport change as well. So the book's W damage has been lowered by 10, and if she double jumps with her ultimate, I guess that's 20 less, but I'm kind of struggling just a little bit to see where this fits in. It is AoE damage, it is her wave clear, so if you hit 6 minions, that is 60 less damage you're doing and you're losing on the wave. This is what the old LeBlanc rework that we kind of reverted to a little while ago targeted in the first place actually, wave clear. They gave it like a harder time in the lane phase, the less ability to push the wave, a tougher time farming, and that then gave her less gold, less damage, and less chance to roam around the map. Maybe that is kind of what they're trying to look at doing again, but it's only 10 damage this time, and it's not going to really affect her one-shot combo either if she finds you alone. Nunu and Willam are also going to get a few changes here. Base AD increased, and your Q is going to heal for 8% of your bonus health instead of 5%. Changing base AD actually affects junglers more than you think. Like the Graves nerf we had a while ago to his base AD did actually lower his win rate because it messes with the clear in the jungle. They're going to be auto-attacking a ton to clear the jungle and farm it, especially early. This is going to help his farming a lot more. That is the entire point. The healing, I'm guessing, is aimed at making him hard to kill and healthier, but I don't really see that as much of an issue, so maybe or hopefully it's going to be the farming aspect, if anything. Another jungler up for a buff is Trundle. His Q bonus damage has been increased a little bit at later ranks, and his AD ratio has been increased by 10% as well. So the base damage on his Q is good here, but when Trundle was being played a lot, it was mostly as this kind of dueling tanky support thing with a Cinderhulk and with a Zeeks. People did run Blood Razor and they did run Trinity Force as well with like Hydras, but it wasn't as much. They gutted him proper hard though with nerf after nerf because of pro play, so I think he's going to need a little bit more than this. The final champion change we have is to Victor, which is no real surprise. He's kind of top tier. Well, he's definitely top tier at the moment. So they're targeting his Q and his ultimate. The second part of your Q damage has been lowered, but the AP ratio has been increased slightly, and the same with your ultimate. The tick damage from the storm has been lowered, but the AP ratio has been increased. This is definitely targeted at tank Victor, but it's honestly kind of pretty weird. Like on one side, it does make sense because you're taking off base damage and giving him better AP ratios. So if you build AP, you're still going to be doing pretty good damage. On the other side though, it's not even the damage part that is annoying with tank Victor. It's all about the utility from his Q. At max rank, it has a 4-second cooldown with 2.5 seconds of a shield and move speed. Now with cooldown reduction, which you build a lot of, that 4 seconds is obviously a lot lower. So basically you almost have perma move speed and a perma shield. That is really the issue. It's not the damage, it is the shield and the kiting that is just way too good, especially with the Sheen procs. I said we had to change the teleport as well. It's a minor buff really. The channel duration has been lowered from 4.5 to 4 seconds. It's not huge, but it should help just a little bit, especially when we're seeing Ignite now a lot more. The cooldown is still going to be there. It's still very high, so if you mess it up, then it's proper bad. But if you try to join a fight like bot lane or something like that, or late game, it's just a little bit quicker. Now we're going to go into some more rune stuff that is changing, and starting with another tweak to Overgrowth. It is kind of like a rework, but not really. Overgrowth is now going to absorb health from minions and monsters that die near you, kind of like now, but it gives you 3 maximum health for every 8 that die, and when you reach 120, you gain an additional 2.5% maximum health. Right now, every 8, you gain a 0.2% maximum health, which then when you reach 120 would actually be 3%. I think this is a nerf overall as you get later, especially because like the percentage doesn't scale forever, and it already is lower at 120, but basically it's kind of the same thing, same idea, just done in a different way. One of the really cool rune changes though is to Demolish. The charge duration has been lowered from 4 to 3 seconds. Now if you watched yesterday's video, the preseason one, you'll understand why this could be really good. It's much more reasonable anyway to only need 3 seconds. Hanging around a tower for 4 seconds is a pretty long time, but we're going to see more play in general from this because we have the plating now on towers and how much gold you can get by removing the plates on the outer towers. They're only active for the first 14 minutes of a game, so you're not going to have a massive amount of health there because the charge damage actually deals a base and then 30% of your maximum health. You're probably going to get to about 1500 health on a tank before they fall off, and that is going to be 450 damage extra. Now plates have 1000 health, remember, so chunking off 600 with a Demolish charge, it just means if you can get the proc off in the first place, you'll probably take one of those plates out and get that extra gold, which is really good. Obviously you can't tell just yet how it's going to work, but the rune itself will be more useful next season anyway, and it is getting buffed. If you remember, bone plating has been removed, right? And is often paired with chrysalis, which is actually getting a flat nerf. So the bonus health has been lowered by 10, and then the AD has been lowered by 3, and the AP lowered by 5. So basically you start with less health in the game, and then you hit those 4 takedowns, you get less damage out of it as well. So both sides of it are going to be lowered. Considering it is in the same row as like second wind, we might swap over to get the extra regen now instead. Obviously you don't have the health, so you can't fight as much, but the regen should help you fight a little bit more and then heal back afterwards. So looking at precision, we have fleet footwork. The AP ratio has been lowered from 0.5 to 0.3, and this is one of the reasons it's so good on like a Kassadin or a Kai'Sa with the AP build, because the AP ratio is actually pretty solid. It's a bit weird though, because I don't see fleet being a massive issue right now, and the AP ratio is better late game. It's not better like early or mid game. For AD carries who build AD right now and still use this, you won't even notice it at all, but on some of the fringe cases where you were building AP, it's just not as good, and you probably want to go for something else. So there you go. That is what to expect in patch 8.22 that is coming in about a week's time. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the new Dark Harvest and the new Shield Bash rune. Thank you for watching the video, but for now, I will leave you with the robots.